Before Rome ruled the world, it learned how to erase one. Not with treaties, not with diplomacy, but with iron, fire, and genocide disguised as conquest. Between 58 and 50 BC, a single Roman general marched north into Gaul. What followed was not a war, it was an extinction event. By the end, millions were dead, entire cultures vanished, and Rome crossed a line it could never step back from. This is not the story of Rome's glory. This is the story of how power is born through annihilation. This is the Roman Gaul Wars. Our story begins not in the mud and blood of the battlefield, but in the marble halls of Rome, with a man whose ambition knew no bounds, Gaius Julius Caesar. By 58 BC, Caesar was a rising star in Roman politics, but he was also deeply in debt. He needed wealth, military glory, and a loyal army to secure his power. His eyes turned north, to the vast, fractured lands of Gaul, a patchwork of hundreds of tribes, rich in resources and ripe for conquest. Using the migration of the Helvetii tribe as a pretext, Caesar marched his legions into Gaul. He wasn't just defending Roman borders, he was engineering an empire. His initial campaigns were lightning fast and brutally effective. He defeated the Helvetii, then turned his legions against the Germanic Suebi, driving them back across the Rhine. In just a few years, he had subjugated tribe after tribe, from the Belgi in the north to the Aquitani in the south. Caesar's own account, Commentary di Bello Gallico, paints him as a military genius, a master tactician who outmaneuvered every opponent, and he was. But his writings also sanitize the sheer brutality of his conquest. Entire towns were razed. Populations were massacred or sold into slavery. For the Gauls, this wasn't a glorious campaign. It was an apocalypse. Roman discipline and engineering, embodied by the legionary, clashed with the fierce, but often disorganized, courage of the Gallic warrior. The Gauls fought bravely for their homes and their freedom, but against the relentless Roman war machine, they were consistently outmatched. For years, Gallic resistance was fragmented. Tribes fought alone and were defeated alone. But as the Roman grip tightened, a new kind of leader began to emerge. A young chieftain from the Arvani tribe, a man whose name would become a symbol of Gallic defiance, Vercingetorix. Vercingetorix was different. He was charismatic, intelligent, and possessed a strategic vision that other Gallic leaders had lacked. He understood that they couldn't defeat the Romans in pitched battles. Instead, he united the tribes under a single command and adopted a scorched-earth policy. They would burn their own towns and farms, denying the Roman legions the supplies they needed to survive. Let the land itself fight Caesar. In 52 BC, the Great Revolt began. Vercingetorix's strategy was initially successful. He inflicted several setbacks on Caesar, forcing the Romans into a desperate struggle for survival. The climax came at the fortified town of Avaricum. Against Vercingetorix's advice, the Gauls chose to defend it. After a grueling siege, Caesar's legions stormed the walls. The aftermath was a horrifying massacre. Of the 40,000 inhabitants, only a few hundred escaped to tell the tale, shaken but not broken. Vercingetorix rallied his remaining forces and retreated to a seemingly impregnable hilltop. Fortress Alesia. He knew Caesar would have to follow him. This would be the final battle for the fate of Gaul. What happened next is one of the most incredible feats of military engineering in history. Caesar arrived at Alesia with his legions, but instead of launching a direct assault, he began to build. He constructed a massive set of fortifications, an 11-mile wall encircling the entire plateau, trapping Vercingetorix and his 80,000 warriors inside. This was the line of contravallation. But Caesar knew a massive Gallic relief army was on its way. So, he ordered his men to build a second, even larger wall facing outwards of the Timar ring to protect his army from the coming attack. This was the line of circumvallation. The Roman army was now besieged, while simultaneously besieging Alesia. They were trapped between two massive Gallic forces. Inside Alesia, conditions grew desperate. Food ran out. Vercingetorix was forced to expel the women and children from the town, hoping Caesar would let them pass. In a cold, calculated decision, Caesar refused. Caught between the Roman walls and the closed gates of Alesia, they slowly starved to death in the no-man's land, their cries echoing across the battlefield. Finally, the Gallic relief army arrived, 250,000 strong. The battle for Alesia, and for Gaul itself, began. The Gauls launched furious attacks on both Roman walls simultaneously. For days, the fighting was relentless. Caesar himself rode along the lines, his scarlet cloak a beacon of inspiration for his exhausted soldiers, urging them on. The Roman lines bent. They buckled, but they never broke. In a final, desperate gamble, Caesar led a cavalry charge into the rear of the main Gallic attack, shattering their formation and their morale. The relief army broke and fled, seeing the defeat from the walls of Alesia. Vercingetorix knew the cause was lost. To save his remaining people from slaughter, he made the ultimate sacrifice. The next day, he rode out of Alesia alone, clad in his finest armor. He circled Caesar's command post, dismounted, laid his weapons at the Roman general's feet, and surrendered. The great Gallic revolt was over. Vercingetorix was taken to Roman chains, paraded through the streets during Caesar's triumph 6 years later, and then, as was the custom, he was ceremonially executed. The Gallic Wars had cost 1 million lives, with another 1 million sold into slavery. Gaul was broken, and it would be absorbed into the Roman world, its culture and language gradually replaced by Latin. The conquest made Caesar the wealthiest and most powerful man in Rome. The loyal, veteran legions he forged in Gaul would follow him across the Rubicon, topple the Republic, and pave the way for the Roman Empire. The story of the Gallic Wars is a stark reminder of the cost of ambition and the birth of empires. It's a tale of a brilliant and ruthless conqueror, a tragic hero who united his people too late, and the collision of two worlds that shaped the future of a continent. The echoes of this ancient conflict still resonate today in the language, the culture, and the very landscape of modern France. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past fascinating, be sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell. See you next time.